ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. In this session we will be discussing about two suktas on Ashwa or Agni. Suktam 162. Rishi Dirghadama Devata Ashwa or Agni, Chandas, Krishtup and Jagati. Riks in this suktam are presented in the mystic language of the Vedic sages. Mano Mitro Varuno 162.1. We describe in this sacrifice the valorous virtues of horses or sources of energy or power and their speed, which are manifested from that most brilliant one. May Mitra, Varuna, Aryama, a learned man, Indra, Maruth, a wise man, etc., not make fun of this speech. Instead, may they approve of it. Ashwa or horse is a symbol for power and speed, or the soul of energy, Agni. The most brilliant one implies Atma. Here, Agni stands for Kalagni, described in 162.19. Yen Nirnija 162.2. When that unborn and always pure Agni, manifesting in distinctly visible infinite diverse forms, leads a sacrificer holding oblations covered with all kinds of wealth collected in front of the sacrificer, uttering appropriate words, he finally attains the state dear to Indra and Pusha, namely Atma. When a knowledge sacrificer meditates on that birthless Brahman, the self reveals self-knowledge and he attains oneness with the self. Here, wealth collected is knowledge, the greatest of all wealths. Esha Chaga Guru 162.3. This Agni, having a goat as a vehicle, moves with the speed of a swift horse. He is possessor of great strength and of good attributes. He is praiseworthy. He is being led to the place of sacrifice first. Then the Creator may himself favor us with delicious, well-cooked food with knowledge for reputation. In a sacrifice, Agni is invoked first. The Creator can be the universal impeller or the self. With this clarification, meaning of the rig should become clearer. Agni's vehicle is he-goat, Aja, unborn spiritual light race probably. This implies that Agni, the soul of energy, is carried by Aja Atma or spiritual race of Atma. Yatha Vishya Amrudusho Yat Havishya Amrudusho 162.4. Learned men lead these good and virtuous sources of power all around the world, in the atmosphere or in the space, 3 or many times throughout the year. A self-realized man who gives instructions on sacrifice to all attains first that praiseworthy source of strength. source of gross power, not gross power, used for aerospace travel is an aerospace engine or power plant. Source of soul of energy is birthless Brahman, but cause of his birth is the ignorance of it. Hota Avaya May 162.5. May Hota, performer of sacrifice, Adharyu, chief priest, Avaya, unifier of all, Agdimandha, kindler of fire, Grava, Grabha, acceptor of praises, Shamsta, admirer, Suvipra, wise person, perform the most desirable sacrifice well, so that it fills the embankments of rivers with pure water. Various functionaries of a gross sacrifice are being talked about in these works. This knowledge sacrifice is on creation of the universe. This comment is applicable to the next trick also. Upavaraska Udaye 162.6. Persons who cut the sacrificial post, those who carry the post, and who hew the top ring of the post for tying the horse, and those who prepare food for the horse, let their functions fulfill our expectations. Upapragat 162.7. A learned person establishes on his own. He knows well the different principles associated with nature. He promotes the interests of shining beings for my sake. I make use of the services of this good friend for strengthening my ties with the shining beings. All saints and seers congratulate him. Shining beings could mean those mentioned in the first track, 162.1. Here, Rudhatnya implies Jivatma present in the heart space of the seer of this sukta. Enlightened souls present in the knowledge sacrifice congratulate the seer of the sukta. Yet Vajino Dama 162.8. The rope or control wire of the fast moving horse or source of power attached to its feet or to the bottom, and the rope or wire attached to the head or top, and the grass or fuel fed are to be known to the learned men or enlightened souls. 162.8, 9 and 10. With reference to a horse, these rules should be self-explanatory. However, the horse is a symbol for spiritual Agni, the soul of energy. Learned men should know the corresponding characteristics of the spiritual Agni. Yadashwasya Kravisho 162.9. The flesh and blood of a fast-running horse, which the fly eats, the Vedic utterances of one's own self, parts of oblations sticking to the hands and nails of the performer of sacrifice, may all these be with the learned men. Ingredients of the horse, spiritual Agni, and offerings, Vedic mantras from Seer of the Sukta are known to enlightened souls. (162.10) Yaduvat udarasya Yaduvadhyamudarasya. Undigested food that comes out of the stomach and the bad smell arising from it and coming out of the stomach, all this can be avoided if the cooks prepare well cooked food. Hence, may they properly prepare cooked sacrificial oblations. May the sacrificial offerings or mantras be properly prepared to avoid ill feelings to the hearers. Yatte Gatrad 162.11. Oblations cooked by the fire and flowing out of it should not go to enemy who causes pain, nor spilt on the ground or on the grass. They are to be given only to shining beings who desire these oblations. These Vedic mantras are meant for the ears of enlightened souls and not for ignorant infidels mentioned in the next reg 162.12. Ye vaginam, who crave for the well-cooked flesh of a horse, who declare this elegant horse is fit to be killed, who go about begging for horse flesh, let the expectations of such people be never fulfilled. This and the next one. Only non-violent sacrifices. Say, a knowledge sacrifice is considered as noble by the seer of the Sukta. Yannikshanam 162.13. Persons who do not look at the cauldron in which meat is boiled, but rather appreciate the vessels for sprinkling juice and those used for cooking rice and other food articles, and lids that cover these vessels, become impellers of noble deeds. Performers of noble deeds are the extractors of soma, gross, subtle or spiritual, and not performers of violent sacrifices. This is the implication. 162.14. Nikramanam, the movement of a horse, his state of rest, his different activities, fetter for his foot, the water he drinks, the things that the horse eats, all these are to be known and controlled by intelligent men. All these refer to the soul of Agni in his manifested forms. Under 162.14 and 15, that is this, the present one to the next one. The comment on 162, 8, 9 and 10 is applicable to these rigs also. May learned men accept the concept of spiritual Agni as the soul of energy. Matva Agni 162.15. O learned man, may not the fumes of fire make you cough? May the glowing flames not overheat the vessel. May learned men accept that admired, beloved, offered, preserving and sanctified horse or power source, namely Agni, soul of Agni. 162.16. Yadashvayavasa. Respectable enlightened souls provide that glittering covering, lid or top for the source of power, Agni, soul of Agni, who moves fast, and also a resting place for him as well as a fetter to his foot. Enlightened sages conceived of the spiritual Agni, who is glittering, who pervades the whole universe, and a resting place for him, namely birthless Brahman. resting place is the heart space of human beings. Yatte Sade Mahasa 162.7. Like a person goading a horse, when he comes to rest with a hissing sound by his heel or whip, I shall manage to goad Agni in this sacrifice by means of Vedic hymns and by pouring oblations with a ladle. Seer of the Sukta is invoking the spiritual Agni in this knowledge sacrifice. On creation of this universe from birthless Brahman, Chadustrimshat 162.18, there are 34 curved and rigid components of a fast-moving horse or source of power, which are known to a learned man. O man, you dismantle them one by one, naming each one of them. Then, with your intelligence, you put them all together back again. 34 components of this Agni could be the spiritual cover that he possesses and Agnis that activate the 34 shining beings, Vishwadevas. With this explanation, meaning of the Rig should become clear. By implication, this Agni can be considered as universal source of power or energy in the physical sense. Egastu 162.19. That one, the creator of this glittering horse or Agni, is time. Likewise, his controllers are the presiding deities of day and night. O Ashwa, or soul of Agni, I prepare the different components of your body all through the year, all seasons. I offer as oblations in the fire different objects, food articles. Birthless Brahman is beyond time, or time has relevance only in a changing situation. Birth of this material universe. Hence it is said that time is the creator of this spiritual Agni, or he is called Kala Agni. Matva Tavat Priya 162.20. O Ashwa Agni, let not your leaving torment the self. Let not lightning or thunderbolt linger in your body. Let not a hasty person jumping down from one place to another cut off your body into pieces wrongly. This and the next two. In the light of comments on previous rigs, these should become self-explanatory. In these rigs, Agni stands for spiritual Agni, the soul of energy, which is one of the basic elements of nature. The self is unaffected by the birth of Kala Agni, who does not carry that part of spiritual energy quantum as such. Rester of the Rig is self-explanatory. Nava U Vedan Mriyase. This Agni never dies nor gets injured definitely. By easy and righteous path, he attains the enlightened souls. O Ashwa or Agni, may your spiritual light rays be yoked to mildness and purity, which are attributes of water. May you be like a fast-moving horse yoked to a chariot, which makes sound while moving. This Kala Agni picks up mildness and moving property, which are essence of water, while moving, Kalagni makes the sound Om, which implies he is Om. Last rook in this sukta, 162.22. Sugavyam no vaji. May this resourceful Kala Agni bring us all kinds of nourishing wealth, good cows, good horses, good progeny, and so on. O Ashwa Kala Agni, indestructible that you are, may you make human beings sinless and us bearers of sacrificial offerings. May you give us strength. Probably elaboration may be needed on some rooks for easier comprehension. This is one of the most difficult suktas of Rig Veda. Kailagni implies source of gross energy or power, or manifested soul of energy. This comment is applicable to the next sukta, Dirghatamas, Suktam 163, from sage Dirghatamas. Devata are the same as before, Chandas is Trushtup. This suktam is to be considered as a continuation of the previous suktam 162 and 163.1. Edakranda Prathamam. O Ashwa or Agni Atma, you are born first from the shining space. Then you appear making thundering sound from the water particles in the atmosphere. Your glittering limbs are like the wings of an eagle, which moves everywhere in the atmosphere. Your excellent birth is definitely praiseworthy. Spiritual Agni manifests in different forms: the sun in the space, lightning in the atmosphere, fire on the earth, etc. Shining space implies Atma. Glittering limbs correspond to bodies of shining beings. Yamena Dattam Trita, 163.2. Air present in three places: atmosphere, earth and water. Yokes this Ashwa Agni given to us by that controller of the universe. Indra, universal manifested self, stays over and above Agni. The revealer of Vedas holds his reins. The rays coming from the sun produced this Ashwa or Agni. Agni, the fire, is supported by air. Indra, universal manifested self, is the controller of the universe and is superior to Agni, who is only one of the basic elements of nature. Atma or Atmiya Soma, the universal impeller, is the inspirer of Vedic hymns. Sun, fire, etc. are all different sources of energy only, basically. We go to 163.3. Asiyamo, who all-pervading Agni Atma, you are the controller of all activities of the universe. Born from Aditi, the indestructible, you are indestructible. You are associated with air by an unknown order. You are present in the atmosphere, water and on the earth. Though by nature separate, you are associated with Atmiya Soma and the herbs equally. Thus, your three kinds of bonds with objects in the space have been described by the wise. Energy or Agni is indestructible. Agni's energy is associated with Atmiya Pavamana Soma essence. Herbs are storehouses of chemical energy. Air in the atmosphere holds heat energy as sensible heat. 163.4. Trinita Ahurdivi. O all-pervading spiritual Agni, your three kinds of bonds with objects in the space, three in water and three in the atmosphere are also being told by them. In this way, your excellent birth is being described by knowledgeable persons. Moreover, may you, like Varuna, the most acceptable one, give me strength. Three kinds of bonds of Agni are energy radiated, light reflected, and kinetic energy spent in the movement of celestial bodies in their respective orbits. Three bonds in water are latent heat of freezing and of evaporation and sensible heat. Three kinds of bonds in the atmosphere: sensible heat in air, air required for maintaining fire, and static electricity, lightning. Agni supplies energy to the seer for all his activities. 163.5. Imate Vajin. O fast mover, manifested Agni or Ashwa, I see those things of yours, namely bathing arrangements and stables for the protection of horses, places for putting your feet, and auspicious, well-protected rains that preserve Ruta, eternal laws of nature. Rugs 5, 6, 7. Seer of the Sukrita visualizes the different manifested forms of spiritual Agni. He is aware of the stable from which this horse comes, how he becomes one of the controllers of Ruta. That Agni only manifests as the sun in the space. Agni pervades the whole universe, providing energy required for all objects in the universe, living as well as non-living. Seer beholds the spiritual form of Agni, who becomes destroyer of his internal and external foes. 163.6. Atmanam te, O Ashwa Agni, I perceive directly by my intellect your soul going upwards from the earth to the sun in the space, even from a distance. Just as I see with my eyes your head or body flying like birds, striving upwards along paths that are unspoiled and are pleasant to travel. 163.7. Atrate Rupam. O Ashwagni, I behold your excellent form from the earth in this dealing of acquisition of knowledge, eager to gain victory over internal or external foes. When a man gives you delicious food like barley and other grains, you consume them immediately. You also swallow herbs and other plants. This manifested form of spiritual Agni is the enjoyer of food and other offered oblations. This is the implication. Anutva Ratho Anu 163.8. O Ashwa or Agni, a vehicle as well as men, cattle, excellence of youthful persons, etc., depend on you. Observers of religious vows seek your friendship. Enlightened souls meditate in their minds on your valor. 163.8 and 11. These works should be self-explanatory. All activities going on in this universe are driven by Ashwa, the manifested form of Agni Atma. 163.9. Hiranyasringo. Enlightened souls approach him, whose head is shining like gold, whose feet are as tough as iron and are as fast as mine. And he is inferior to Indra, universal manifested self. With oblations of food for him, enlightened soul's approach. She stays as the first among the rapid movers. This look and the next one. Ashwa, manifested form of soul of energy or universal source of power and energy, is inferior to Indra, the universal manifested self. This was explained in an earlier rig. We go to 163.10. Irmantasa. These bright Agnis or Ashwas, who are destroyers of obstacles and possessors of fiery spirit, and having thin bellies like horses, move in rows like the swans and pervade the different passages in the sky. 163.11. Tava Shariram, O rapid mover Ashwa or Agni, your body is all pervading. Your mind is like the wind in motion. Your head or hair spread in all directions. You move in the forest with great physical strength. 163.12. Upapragat, the resourceful, rapid moving Ashwaragni, knowing the truth with his concentrated mind, approaches his place of rest, abode of Atma, to favor enlightened souls. Middle part of the body of this birthless Agni moves ahead. Wise men and knowers of nature, Ruta, follow his footsteps. Spiritual Agni leads enlightened souls to truth, revealing the fact that matter, energy, etc. are all manifested forms only. Gross energy pervades the different objects in this universe. 163.13, the last book in the Sukta and also for the day. Upapraga Paramam, the rapid mover Ashwarag Agni attains the state of the Supreme Self and also goes towards the Father, physical space, and the Mother, Earth. Delighted by our hymns, may Agni go to shining beings or enlightened souls immediately. We pray for all kinds of wealth for the sacrificers. Manifested soul of Agni, moving towards the truth, attains the truth. Moving away from his origin, manifested Agni appears as the sun in the space and fire on the earth. Sacrificers pray to these manifested forms of Agni for all kinds of wealth. This is the implied meaning. Additional explanations on some of the ruks in the Sukta can be given if necessary. We close the session today. Viramastavat.